Lynn, you all ready to offer your warm welcome to our attendees tonight?
Yep.
I think yeah.
Okay, we have about 1 minute left. So I'll let people in starting right at 5:30.
Sounds good. And then we'll go ahead and jump in at 33 plus or minus.
Yeah, and I'll let them know that we're holding for 2 or 3 minutes.
Sounds good. Have fun.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We'll give other attendees 2 to 3 minutes to join us before we get started tonight. We'll be back in about 2 minutes or so.
Hola a todos, vamos a darle a todos los asistentes 2 a 3 minutos para que se puedan unir antes de que comencemos esta noche. Regresaremos en unos 2 o 3 minutos.
Okay, I think we can get started. Good evening, everyone. I'm Georgina Vivian with VRPA Technologies and with the outreach team for this project. I'd like to first thank everyone for attending this virtual event for the Merced, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin County subregion regarding the State Route or Caltrans State Route 99 Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or CMCP, and the related transportation planning process. We will be recording this session tonight so that we can capture all of your input. It's important that we receive and make sure that we understand your input. It will be critical to the process. Next slide, please. Today we will host the meeting with Spanish simultaneous interpretation. If you are a monolingual English speaker, no changes to your setup are needed. Catherine with Linguistica and the outreach team as well will now provide you with instructions to access the Spanish channel for those Spanish speakers who would like to hear tonight's event translated into Spanish. Catherine?
I'm assuming that's my cue to go, so I'll just go ahead and give those instructions now in Spanish. Hola, muy buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a su junta. Hoy tendremos interpretación simultánea disponible para todos los que gustan disfrutar de la junta en español. Para poder acceder a la interpretación, si están utilizando una computadora, buscar el icono de un mundo que aparece abajo de su pantalla y de ahí seleccionará español. También los invitamos a silenciar el audio original. Si están utilizando la aplicación de Zoom, ya sea por teléfono o tableta, buscará igual los 3 puntos que aparecen en su pantalla que digan More o más en español. Luego deslizarán en el menú de opciones hacia donde dice Interpretación. De ahí seleccionará donde dice Español y los invitamos una vez más a silenciar el audio original. Y cuando han acabado, simplemente seleccionen en algún lugar en su pantalla o seleccionen el botón que diga Listo, tono, finalizar para poder ingresar al canal de español. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. I would also like to review some of the housekeeping issues for you tonight. All attendees will be muted during the session and your video will be not available during the event. If you have a question during the presentation, please post your question in the chat box. We will monitor the questions and present non-repetitive questions as they are added to the chat box and when the presenter is available to answer them. Next slide, please. Great. There are several agencies and firms involved in preparing this important study, including Caltrans Districts 6, 10, and 3, as well as members of the Jacobs Consulting Team, including Jacobs Transportation, VRPA Technologies, AIM Consulting, and Linguistica. All of us have traveled along State Route 99 over the years for our daily activities, whether we're commuting to work or to access shopping or other services. I personally have traveled every day for 7 years from downtown Fresno or from Madera County to downtown Fresno and back, and travel it now for work that I have north and south of Fresno. Now it's your time to let us know how you use State Route 99. Help us learn and identify your challenges as you use the corridor. And most importantly, help us identify solutions to address those challenges. That's what we hope to come out of here with tonight. Next slide, please. I'd also like to briefly, I'm sorry, it's previous slide. I went too quick. I'd like to briefly review the agenda for the remainder of this hour-long event. We have a full agenda for the session tonight. Members of the study team will provide you with an introduction related to the planning process, and there will be polling questions as we move forward through the session so that you can provide us with your opinions related to State Route 99. We will provide you with some background information related to previous planning along the corridor and with some information related to current conditions. It will also be important for us to learn about your solutions, as I mentioned previously, and or methods that can be applied or used to address challenges along the corridor. Finally, we will identify the next steps in the planning process so that you can continue to be engaged. Next slide, please. I will now turn the presentation over to Lynn O'Connor. She is the Office Chief of System Planning and Goods Movement with Caltrans District 10. Before you get started, Lynn, maybe you can provide some discussion about how you use State Route 99 and why it is important to you. Lynn?
Well, over the years, way too many years than I wanted to admit to, I've used State Route 99 to get up and down the state. I remember not quite so fondly the days when intersections had signals and there was a train track across the highway, which meant long waits. It's a lot different now that it's a freeway. And fortunately, we don't have the Thule fog sit on it like it used to be, where you would have to open your car door to see the lines on the road. Things have improved greatly over the years. It's still my route of choice to go up and down the state. So I really enjoy State Route 99. But I wanted to welcome you all tonight on behalf of Caltrans District 10, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the initial round of virtual public workshops for the State Route 99 Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or CMCP. My name is Lynn O'Connor. I am the Caltrans Corridor Planning Representative for District 10. The focus for this workshop is for State Route 99 in Caltrans District 10 and through the counties of San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and Merced. We're committed to addressing the needs of the communities on the corridor, and we encourage you to share your ideas for what improvements you would like to see along the state route that would benefit your own community. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas for the CMCP. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Next slide, please. So our first question for you tonight, so that we can get a sense of where you live in relation to the corridor. If you were with us, of course, we would be able to ask you to, when you sign in, to provide us with your zip code, but we don't have that luxury. So if you could please provide your city and your zip code where you currently reside in the chat box, that would be great. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
Thanks, everybody. Keep them coming.
So Doug, where are people from?
Got a nice range. We've got a couple of Stocktons, a couple of Atwaters. There's Merced as well as Modesto. So a nice spread of the corridor.
Great. Well, again, thanks everyone for attending. Thanks for your input. Next slide, please. Okay, Katie with AIM and the outreach team will now provide the next polling question. The question is, why do you use State Route 99 most often? Answer A, commute to work. Answer B, go to the store. To reach services such as medical services. D, get to school. E, to visit friends and family. F, for leisure purposes. And G, for other. And if you choose other, if you could please list what other means in the chat box, that would be great. So why do you use State Route 99 most often?
All right, looks like about half the people. Oh, about 9 of 15 have answered. We'll leave it open just for a few more seconds to see if anyone else wants to answer
That's great.
before we
Thanks.
share the results.
Okay.
All right, I will share it.
So number one answer is commute to work and then other. And Doug, maybe you could give us a sense of what the answers in other were.
I'll just note that Jeremy hit the all of the above button, which
Okay.
I think, given the importance of 99, is makes a lot of
Makes sense.
sense.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. All right. Next slide, please. Okay, next we will now play a video that has been prepared to highlight the State Route 99 planning process. The video provides a good overview of the planning process and is very informative. So here we go.
Caltrans is developing a comprehensive multimodal corridor plan, CMCP, for State Route 99, SR 99, from Bakersfield to Sacramento. SR 99 is crucial for goods movement and interregional connectivity. Although sections of SR 99 have been improved over the years, more work is needed to address growing safety, access, and traffic demands. The CMCP will guide future corridor decisions considering transportation trends, emerging technologies, community needs, and state and local policies. The planning area includes Caltrans Districts 3, 6, and 10, and 8 counties in coordination with their metropolitan planning organizations and transportation planning agencies, as well as local agencies and community partners. Caltrans has been planning for a cohesive SR 99 corridor since the early 2000s through Caltrans District's Transportation Concept Reports, California System Management Plans, and the SR 99 Business Plan. These efforts highlight multimodal opportunities for enhancing the SR 99 corridor. When complete, the SR 99 CMCP will carry forward the vision of these plans and reports. The Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, Senate Bill 1, established the Solutions for Congested Corridors program with an annual budget of approximately $250 million. This program funds projects that deliver specific, measurable performance improvements and align with comprehensive corridor plans. These projects can span state highways, local streets, public transit, rail facilities, cycling and pedestrian infrastructure, or necessary mitigation efforts. The CMCP will showcase agency coordination and robust analysis, enhancing the region's competitiveness for federal and state funding. Over the course of the next year, we will be looking not only to our partners and local agencies for input as we develop the CMCP, but also to you, the users of the corridor. We will be hosting a series of virtual events at key times during the planning process, both to inform you and to request your feedback. Virtual meetings will be held in each of the counties. Please join us to help identify priorities, concerns, and solutions that improve the SR 99 corridor and adjacent communities.
Great, thank you. Next slide, please. Our next presenter is Doug Johnson. He's a principal transportation planner with Jacobs Transportation. He'll present information to you on the background planning process, as was mentioned in the video, existing conditions along the corridor, as well as challenges, and then the identification of potential solutions to improve the corridor. And with that, I'll turn it over to Doug. Doug?
Thanks, Georgina. I'll just say thank you everyone for making time this evening to join us. I just wanted to share my own experience traveling 99 in the back seat of my dad's car when he worked for the Farm Bureau long ago, it seems, and more recently traveling through the valley. So it's a pleasure to be here. The State Route 99 has had a series of plans that have guided past, current, and will guide future improvements in the corridor. I want to note that I think Lynn's comments at the top in welcoming all of us is a reminder of the amount of change and improvements that have been made across this study area, which encompasses 300 miles stretching from the intersection of 99 and US 50 and 99 and Interstate 5 to the south. The most recent activities have been around the managed lanes study that's being led in Sacramento County, and also the business plan update, which has been co-led by District 6 and by District 10. This study represents one of the first CMCP processes that will include 3 Caltrans districts, 3, 6, and 10. As I mentioned, this 300-mile long corridor, next slide, knits together 8 counties and countless local jurisdictions along its reach. But the focus of the study is not solely on highway improvements on State Route 99, but will include multimodal improvements and safety improvements as well. What is a multimodal improvement? It could be anything that specifically targets an improvement ranging from goods movement, freight movement, bus and rail improvements, bicycle and pedestrian strategies, and more. This planning process will align with key statewide plans, including the recent updates to the state's freight plan and the state rail plan, among many others. And we'll incorporate some of the latest thinking on resiliency and preparing the corridor for future changes from weather impacts. As noted in that statewide freight plan, the freight mobility plan, we recognize the critically important role of freight in this corridor, recognizing the corridor changes its characteristics in some ways traveling this entire length of 99. Next. Our CMCP process really boils down to 4 steps. The first is to collect information to better understand how people are traveling on the corridor, using the corridor, and what some of the challenges may be in that corridor. And that is kind of a key part of that next step, is as we consider what we've learned in that first step, we need to take a deeper look at what are some of the things that clearly aren't working, but also begin to think about what could some of those opportunities be to bring forward ideas to continue to make that next generation set of improvements. After that, we look to harden those opportunities into concrete solutions. Again, ranging across different types of investments and also ranging the length of what is a very long study area. And then finally, to create an implementation plan so that next steps for the study, for the projects identified there are clear. And you can see below that we seek to engage the public, in 2 rounds of workshops, one here in June, and then a future one in the winter time ahead of us. And we expect that some of the ideas and feedback you provide us tonight is going to show up in those meetings that we have when we check back on our solutions as we prepare to draft that implementation plan. We'll go to the next slide, and we're just going to pause here for about 15 seconds as it's in Spanish. Next slide, please. The goals for the study are a critical part of making sure that we have a balanced set of objectives and that we have clear ideas about what we are hoping to accomplish again in the future once many of these projects and programs have been implemented. Perhaps a critical one and appropriately in the top left corner is to really promote a safe system and improve safety. As Lynn reminds us in the days of the Thule fog, but even just any time, safety is an important issue, and it resonates regularly in community meetings and in news coverage. Caltrans does, through its Vision Zero goal, seek to eliminate all fatalities and serious injuries on California's roadways by 2050. We also seek to continue to support mobility and the economy generally, to take good care of our infrastructure and the amount of improvements, maintenance, construction, and the like underway on the corridor really speaks to that. Finding ways to improve public health outcomes along the corridor, especially for folks that live near the State Route 99 and the rail line. Find ways to manage traffic congestion and also to be advancing a suite of technological improvements, but it's including clean technology. And then finding ways to support affordable development. And a key part of that is going to be by supporting affordable transportation options for households and employers along the corridor as well. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Georgina, who will be handling our next polling question. Georgina? Well, it looks like Georgina's about
Oh,
to
I'm
get
sorry.
on.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
you're
I'm
there.
sorry.
Okay.
Please select 2 goals which are most important to you. Sorry about that. 1 is to promote safe travel, maintain streets and highways. 2 is to support the valley's economy, support affordable development. 3 is to promote equitable transportation investments. 4, prepare for climate change and advanced clean technology. 5, improve air quality and improve public health. 6, reduce traffic congestion. And we'll give you another minute or so to get your answers in. Please choose 2.
Yeah, and over half the people have already responded, so thank you for that. We'll leave it open for another few seconds. All right, over 80% has responded. Let me share the results.
Great. It looks like we have, open it up here. So we have the number 1 answer, promote safe travel, maintain streets and highways, followed by improve air quality and improve public health. And then we've got a tie between support the valley's economy and promote equitable transportation investments. And lastly, we have prepare for climate change and reduce traffic congestion. Great. Thank you so much for your answers.
And
Next slide. I'm
I'll
sorry.
just note, thanks, Susan, for also adding your specific, which is just really growing overall those alternative transportation choices up and down the corridor. And for those, I'm assuming Susan means, you know, alternatives to driving or potentially to driving alone. And that is indeed an objective that we all share in this study for sure.
Most definitely. Next slide, please. Doug, continue on with current conditions.
Great. Well, hopefully you all aren't going to get too tired of my voice, but I'll try and keep it moving for your benefit. So in this section, we're really taking a look at some of the key characteristics of the corridor, again, over its long length. And I think one of the clearest points of data is around some of the demographics changes and the population trends in the past 25 years in the valley, seeing over 1% growth per year in almost every county, and quite a bit higher than that in many, while also seeing the growth in Sacramento County of over 350,000 new residents. And that is a transformational amount of growth, no matter how big or small your county might be. You know, looking forward, the current forecasts do see that growth changing based on various demographic trends, but you can still see that, especially in Merced, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin counties, we continue to anticipate strong growth overall in population. Next slide. The job growth story, very similar to the population when looking back over the last 25 years, with a strong percentage increase in jobs up and down the corridor. Recognize it may not be enough jobs right nearby based on the commuting answers, but this is a trend, unlike with the population growth, where it is anticipated that more jobs are going to continue to grow in the valley. And that trend is going to continue to increase the need for alternatives to driving alone and improvements in the corridor to address these higher needs. Next slide. The next piece of this is really taking a look at, the layers of the transportation system in the corridor. Again, stretching this length of the valley or valleys, excuse me. We see State Route 99 anchors the north-south travel on the east side of the valleys, and intersects dozens of state highways, providing critical access to Southern California, to the high desert, to the Bay Area, Sacramento, the northern state, Reno, and beyond. So these, are certainly provides critical access, and really has for a long time been the backbone of the corridor's transportation system. Next slide. In addition to that, there is also a robust rail network providing a variety of freight and passenger rail services. Obviously, Burlington Northern, Santa Fe, and Union Pacific are the heavy hitters here, but there's a number of short haul, short line operators, as well as the San Joaquins, ACE, and commuter rail services in the corridor as well. There's also a number of operators, bus operators that provide service to those connecting rail services, which will bring us to our next slide, which is the kind of final piece of this complicated transportation network, which includes the bus and other transit services that exist in the corridor. Not every transit agency runs buses in the corridor, runs buses on 99. And we also know there's a number of private or other operators that provide intercity bus service on 99, including Greyhound and Flixbus, and Amtrak California as well, providing some of those critical alternatives to driving. Next slide. In looking at some of the daily travel patterns, we see that there's quite a range in daily vehicle trips on the corridor, depending on which segment you're in, and with some higher demands around some of the big connections to the east-west state highways, and towards some of the east-west, and towards 205 and I-5 as well. Next slide. And when digging in more closely, looking at that southern half of the segment, we see that in particular, there's higher volumes in and around Fresno and Bakersfield. And next slide. In the northern segment, we see more traffic, more volume approaching Sacramento, in and around Stockton and Manteca as well. We also expect and anticipate that, as we saw with those growth figures, some of these patterns are going to continue to show increase as the population and jobs, continue to put demands on people's transportation needs. Next slide. Another huge part which we have touched on in looking at the corridor is the amount of goods that move on freight movements in the corridor, including by rail as well as by truck. It's estimated that 25 million tons of goods are moved annually along 99 between Bakersfield and Sacramento. And many of you, I'm sure, know this only too well, but about a quarter of the nation's food is produced in the Central Valley, which is really a huge driver of what ends up needing to be shipped in the Valley. Farm products, food and beverage, which includes milk, another huge ag product in the corridor, as well as manufactured products of consumer and durable goods as well. The state plans, as noted above, certainly place a great importance on State Route 99 and ensuring its long-term importance for goods movement. But it's also understood that the current system and high truck volumes in some communities do contribute to higher emissions along these corridors, which is part of why the Senate Bill 671, which is the Clean Freight Corridor Initiative, specifically names State Route 99 as a priority corridor for work in finding ways to advance clean technology there. Another thing just to note is that this is the only north-south rail freight corridor in the state, with the coast route falling out of use, providing critical access for the freight rail system to Oregon, out to the east-west route into the Bay Area, as well as towards Chicago, while connecting to Southern California and the high desert. Next. When we look at the truck volumes, they are highest approaching I-5 in the south and 205 in the north. Given the amount of logistics centers, that is not surprising. A key strategy has been to try and create and develop inland ports to try and reduce some of those, to try and reduce that truck traffic and move more and more to rail. So as we reflect on some of these findings, I hand it over to Georgina for our next polling question.
Great, Katie, we're ready for the next question related to challenges as we travel along State Route 99. So the question for you participants is, what are the top 2 challenges that you have traveling on or across State Route 99 in your community? 1, development of new homes, jobs, and infrastructure impacting trips. 2, high traffic volumes and congestion. 3, high volumes of truck traffic and goods movement. 4, unsafe roadways or intersections. And 5, do I have alternatives to driving by car? So we'll give you a couple of minutes to answer this question, and we'll get back to the presentation.
Answers are slowly rolling in, so let's just give it a moment.
Okay. And again, you have 2 choices.
All right, just about 70% have answered, or a little over 70. Let me share the results. Oh, 80. Nice.
There you go. So it looks like the number 1 answer is high traffic volumes and congestion along State Route 99, followed then by high volumes of truck traffic and goods movement. Then we're tied with unsafe roadways or intersections, and do I have alternatives to driving by car? Looks like we had no takers on development of new homes, jobs, and infrastructure impacting trips. Great. Thank you so much for your answers.
And thanks, Jerry, for specifically stating, I think your concern around the merges from 6 lanes to 4 lanes. I'm pretty sure that's what you are referring to. So thanks for flagging that. And that maybe is a good way to kind of preview this final section of this evening's discussion, where we seek to engage with you all on solutions and what are some of the ideas that you all have for improvements in the corridor. These are some of the studies that are currently guiding future investments in this study area, and reflect a wide variety of statewide plans, plans for an inland port, county plans, a transit plan, and there are dozens of bicycle and pedestrian plans as well, which cities and counties use to fund and deliver a wide variety of projects up and down the corridor. And our project seeks to, work with those studies and those study sponsors. I'm guessing many of you have already provided input in those planning processes as well as this one, and appreciate that. And this is where we also, though, want to get your input tonight, and a chance to continue to express those priorities that you shared already around goals, and think about what that might look like in terms of specific improvements as we build a large inventory of ideas for what might make what some of those best solutions might be. Next. In the coming months, the idea will be that we will take a variety of layered improvements and build a layered set of improvement strategies for the corridor. That will range across these different types of transportation improvements, whether that might be around goods movement, safety improvements, increasing or expanding or changing bus service, thinking about passenger, freight, rail opportunities, and bike and pedestrian travel needs as well. As you can imagine, given the length of the corridor, it's going to be a big task. So as we engage with you here tonight, and your partner and your local agencies, we look forward to providing you all providing the most specific ideas that you might have. So with that, Georgina, take it away.
Great. Okay, Katie, we're ready for the next polling question. I'm sorry. This is a question that you are going to be answering in the chat box. So if you could please now identify what you believe are the best solutions to address the challenges that you face traveling along or across State Route 99. Some examples are shown on the screen. Some additional solutions might include freeway connectors, widening bridges, constructing new bus stops along adjacent streets and roads, roundabouts on adjacent and connecting streets and roads, new and expanded multimodal centers, including bus, rail, and bike and pedestrian facilities, bike lanes, trails, and pedestrian facilities, as well as other solutions. So please provide your answers in the chat box. If you could be as specific as possible. We know that you know State Route 99 very well in your county. So if you could let us know exactly what some of the issues are and what you believe the solutions would be to address those issues, that would be wonderful. Great, thanks, Rose.
Yeah, Rose is looking kind of building on that comment around the lane changes, looking to have a consistent number of 6 lanes through Merced with a modified speed limit.
Yeah, same with Stacy's comment.
Yep.
Getting
Thanks,
rid of the
Stacy.
bottlenecks. Mhm. Yeah, just some
And Susan
education
too.
educating the drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry, I'll just observe that we've seen that versions of that comment a lot around driving behavior and how other people drive. So thanks for sharing.
Are there places where we need pedestrian overcrossings? Are there intersections that are adjacent to the freeway that you feel unsafe or need improvement? So if you could think along those lines as well. Good point, Stacy. Definitely. Keep those solutions coming. Thank you for your comment, Joel.
Yeah, and Gary mentioned the idea of dedicated truck lanes as a part of that 6-lane route.
Very good idea.
Yeah. Serena noted the difficulty of spotting the striping. And Susan, thank you for your comment regarding high-speed rail. Certainly in those communities that have a high-speed rail station under construction and those that have them planned, we know those are going to be incredibly important facilities to provide transportation alternatives and pickup and drop off options. I know that a lot of those issues have been studied, but look to lift those up here. And Joel's got an idea around trying to create more incentives to increase bus routes for commuters on 99. Or expanding that service, it looks like specifically. So there's more travel options. Thanks, Joel.
Yep.
And Susan, thanks for your note about the cross freeway, excuse me, overpasses. Again, I just reiterate what Georgina said. Don't hesitate to be as specific as you like and as you can. If you think of a place where you've seen it, it's a great way to bring that in.
Yep, Jerry's doing just that.
Thanks, Jerry.
That's his second comment. It's been very specific. Great work. Wow, there you go, Susan. Good comment.
Indeed. Oh, and Jerry also noted sound walls. I think that's a great thing. It's a great example of kind of a complementary improvement. So thanks for bringing that one in.
Okay, well, as we move forward, you can continue to put your ideas, solutions in the chat box. And you did a great job. Very good answers. We'll definitely be looking at each and every one of them. So what happens next? Next slide, please. There are 8 total meetings in this round of community events or forums. So if you have friends, family, or colleagues that would like to attend the next 2, there's night starting at 6:30 for the San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and Merced subregion, as well as one at 5:30 on Thursday. This week will conclude our sessions. Following this series of community events or forums, we will thoroughly review all of the feedback that you've provided, either in the chat box or under separate circumstances. Your feedback will be taken into consideration. Following the conclusion of all 8 sessions, the team will create an outreach report, which will highlight the input that we received from you. Next slide, please. As you can see on this slide and on the next one in Spanish, the first 2 major tasks have been completed as a result of finishing up these sessions this week. So we've looked at defining the corridor characteristics and analyzing the gaps and opportunities. The next 2 major work products include identifying the solutions. And so Jacobs will take back all of the input it receives from this series and start to identify those solutions that can address the challenges along State Route 99. And then, of course, they'll be developing an implementation plan. We'll be back to you, as Doug mentioned previously, in the winter of 2025 to go through what those potential solutions are. Next slide, please. So this is just in Spanish so that we can provide our Spanish speakers with some information related to the processes that are in the future. We'll leave it here for about 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. Okay, next slide, please. So if you have other questions or comments after tonight's session, please call our hotline number at 559-272-4561, or you can email us at sr99cmcp@dot.ca.gov, as shown on the slide. Please follow directions when using the hotline, and we will return your call or send a response to your email within 3 working days. Regarding the information and videos presented tonight, and the outreach report that I mentioned that will be prepared, we will follow up with an email to let you know when and where to find the materials online. Next slide, please. And with that, we really appreciate your attendance at tonight's session. We do have about 6 minutes remaining for you to continue to post any questions or comments or solutions, challenges in the chat box if you'd like. And we'll stay here for the remainder of the time until 6:30. Again, we really appreciate the opportunity for you to join us, and we look forward to potentially seeing you tomorrow night or Thursday as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate those of you who've kept the comments and suggestions coming. Much appreciated.
And we're up to 49. That's really great. You're welcome, Rose. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, I hope everyone has a great evening. Good night, everyone.